Welcome to the Community Podcast here in Liverpool, and I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch, and I kind of like butchered that opening, but it's okay, because my guest is nervous. I figure I'd do a little bit of nervousness for her, so that way she won't have to be nervous anymore. See, look at that. I'm hoping it works. So hopefully you can help me invite our guest in today. We are joined by Lianne McGinnes from Sports Alive. How you doing, Lianne?
Okay, very nervous.
Well, she's still nervous. Well, anyway, so Lianne, you're the operations manager at Sports Alive, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Now, what's great about Sports Alive, I'm pretty sure people have heard about it, because what I can't understand is somehow your organization manages to find 100 kids in Liverpool during the summer. How is that possible?
Well, we run across 9 wards in Liverpool, so we work right across Liverpool and Knowsley. So each session, we run about 20 sessions a week, and each session is averaging about 30 young people a day, so it's a lot.
That is a lot. That's amazing, first of all. I mean, because you are the operations manager, a lot of the details and the planning falls upon you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and everything, yeah, on the dog's body.
Well, what a dog's body it is. And, basically, Leanne, your job, what I liked finding out about was the Sports Alive has actually become the first organization here in Liverpool that had the community license to the Duke of Edinburgh. I mean, that is huge.
Yeah, so there's a new programme called Access Without Limits, which is community-based, which means we were one of the first to get the funding to be able to offer it for young people for free. So we've got 14 places for the Bronze Awards for this year. We've got about 6 spaces left. We have already taken some kids through it. But yeah, it was really, really beneficial to us, because it means that our young people have got something else to achieve, not just attend our sessions.
Well, I mean, that always has seemed to be your remit, hasn't it? I mean, even though you've been the operations manager for 2 years, you've been working at Sports Alive for 15 years, haven't you? Yeah. So, I mean, this does not call her age into question. No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying, she's been around. But okay. It's not just you who've been around, because first of all, Sports Alive has a very, I think, fascinating history. It started on a whim or the impetus of a young man who felt like he wasn't getting what he kind of deserved sports-wise in this area. Can you tell me about the young man, Ryan, and his origin story?
Yeah, so Ryan Manville is our CEO. He's also the founder of Sport Alive. When he was about 16, 17, he came to me. I was working for the big local trust at the time, and asked me for some money to set up an organisation called Sport Alive. At first, I just laughed at him.
He had the name. He had the name for it.
He had everything, yeah. And it was run from his bedroom, basically.
What?
Yeah, so he was really passionate. He was a young youth, accessing youth services at the time. There was a massive shortage of free sessions, really, and free sports sessions more than anything. And like most families in Liverpool, at the time, he comes from a big family of 5 young people.
And everything cost, didn't it?
Yeah, so he decided that he was going to set up free youth sessions and free sports sessions for young people in our local area, and asked me to help him, really. So I became a director. We gave him a little bit of money, and then from there, he just flew. At the time, because I was working for the lottery, we were part of a programme called Unlimited, and I nominated him for Young Entrepreneur of the Year, and
wow.
which was right across the country, including Scotland, and he won.
Check that out.
So that sort of helped catapult him, really, because it gave him, even though it wasn't money, it gave him the resources to be able to structure what he was doing, build a proper business plan, and then from there it's grown. It's 15 years later, we're still here.
That must be amazing to be a young man who kind of feels like I'm not getting something, and I mean, all I need is someone to believe in me or to support me, and you were one of the people that were there to do that. I mean, how was that for him, do you think?
Well, it's part of who we are as Sport Alive as well. But at the time, I think part of my job as a community development worker was to find these young people or anyone really that had an idea or a passion about something and move them forward and give them the space and the support to be able to do that. So when he first came to me, I was just like cheeky little chappy, you know.
Yeah.
But I believed in him. He had something about him. He was serious.
Yeah.
And he knew what he was talking about. He'd done his research. He wasn't just on a whim. He'd been part of the youth service for a long time. He was volunteering for the St John's ambulance. Yes, he just knew what he wanted, and he was.
And what's he doing now?
I mean, now he's a full-time fireman as well as the CEO. But that was always his passion, was to be a fireman. So
look at that. I mean, I believe in the power of belief, and I mean, we all need someone in our lives, to kind of like get behind us, and you not only just carry that over with him, but dealing with 100 kids over the summer. That must mean you dealt with 100 kids over the years.
We're on about 10,000 children that we've worked with in 15 years. Yeah, so definitely. And Ryan.
You need some kind of big reunion, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But Ryan sort of embodies what we do. So he is what we did with him. Like what he sort of created was that vehicle and those tools to support young people to be able to achieve whatever it is they want and be an advocate for them.
Well, that goes a long way as far as like what Sports Alive has become, which we're going to go over. But one of the things was that you were saying that Sports Alive has started to become more of a youth provision and less like sports focus, whereas like even like say a foundation like John Morris thought you were a sports organization, and wouldn't fund you. Have you ever thought about changing the name?
It has crossed our mind, but everyone knows who we are now. We've been here a long time, and we use sport as a vehicle, and sport has been the tool that we've used the most successfully across the 15 years. We employ an Olympian boxer. We've got FA coach badges. Coaches.
You got baseball.
We've got baseball. So we've got a lot of sport. It sort of underpins what we do, and it's a really great tool to engage young people. Everybody's fascinated with some sport hero, especially in this city. Football is our priority, but we found more and more young people tend to look at other sports now because of the coverage they get. So at the minute it's tennis. So we're running a tennis program in summer. So
all right,
because on the back of Wimbledon.
Well, also too is like you guys also strive to find different kind of sports type of activities. I think you were talking about, because you got an event coming up, you were talking about ultimate frisbee.
Yeah. So we used to do a lot with ultimate frisbee. At the time we had coaches that were trained in it. Unfortunately, they've left the organisation, but that was one of the big pulls of getting young people, because they were just like, "What is this?" And it was really fast paced.
Well, you got to help us out. What is it?
It's just fast paced frisbee.
Speed frisbee. How many people get hit in the head?
So I think it's teams. Like, I didn't play it, Chase, so I don't really know.
I can imagine Phil getting hit in the head. What the?
I love frisbee, man. I love it.
Yeah, I know, but it's ultimate frisbee, Phil. So they're zipping it really fast, aren't they?
It's quite a skilled game as well, yeah. So
I can imagine.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of hand-eye coordination.
Definitely.
You already got one eye, right?
Well, I do. I already got one eye. Shut up, Phil. I won't by the time this fun day comes around. So let's talk about the fun day, actually, because that's what Lianne is here to talk about. You know what I mean? I'm going to have my one eye corrected, people. Just let you know. Samuel Jackson got nothing on me. So this free sports day that you got coming up, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so every year we've run some sort of an event to celebrate our young people and what we do. And our partner organisations, we wouldn't be able to do what we did without the partners that we have. So
do they have like stalls around and stuff?
Yeah, so last year we decided to do a big event for our birthday celebration, and again this year is going to be the same. However, this year we're in partnership with Kilboat Housing, so it will be bigger than ever before. And we'll have stalls from a lot of our partners and organisations that are local, including Big Hondo Academy. Yeah, you will be there.
All right, I was wondering who yours was.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of free sessions going on. So we'll have the Liverpool Lions rugby team, the Trojans baseball, and a couple of other supporters and partners there.
Now, Lianne, you know, you can tell this is kind of like Leanne's first interview. She left out the date.
4th of August.
Well, now. Was that your birthday? The birthday of the organization? Or?
Near enough.
Near enough, okay.
Near
Well,
enough.
it's
So it's the
okay.
4th of August at Adlam Park in Fazachley, and it'll be 12 till 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and Allen Park and everything like that. But also, too, is I thought it was kind of funny where you say, we don't want to change the name because everybody knows us. But then isn't it true that every time somebody talks about you, they go, yeah, you're part of Sports Active, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, Sports Direct. No, that's us.
Gets people talking, though.
Yeah, that's people talking. Yeah, I'm just saying, it's all good. And so, but as an organization, naturally, that has had the due diligence to do as much as you can for young people. That's why I think he has switched to being more of a youth provision, because you started to see that there was other things that we could do. And being that you have so many young people, it sounds like you had to create these themes,
Yeah.
you know? So it's kind of like, we got to split these people up, you know? And everything, like we got kids from 5 to 18 and everything. So one of those themes is water, isn't it?
Yeah, so through the summer, we're doing a whole week around water, and that will involve education around being, safe around water, some swimming lessons, some activities on the water like canoeing and stuff like that. We've got a pool party, as well as letting all the staff get soaked by water. We do that every year anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Pull out the super soakers
Yeah.
and everything. But also, too, it's a serious element to it as well,
Yeah.
because, tragedy has struck once again, not too long ago, with kids like wanting to jump into open water, hasn't it? So, this is a concern that's near and dear to you, and being able to provide education is one of the main sources of what you guys are trying to do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely trying to keep our young people safe around water. And we all know water's fun. When it's hot day, it's the first thing that everybody heads for is the open water. And it's just not stopping them from doing that, but telling them the safer way of doing it, and to be aware of any dangers that are around, and making sure that young people can swim.
Yeah. Well, actually, also, too, Liverpool is it's known. I've been here 22 years, but, I've even seen old pictures where the kids used to jump into the dock and, swim in the open water. I would never do it. But, sharks. But,
I don't think there's many sharks in the Albertoch.
Stop it, Phil. It's true. Any open water has a shark. Okay, George, get out of here. All right. Let's get to seriousness, Phil. So, you guys also decided to go into schools as well.
Yeah, so our school work has increased quite a lot.
Is it?
Yeah, and I think it's because...
Northern schools or?
Yeah, mostly senior schools mainly. We do some junior school work, but it is mainly the older schools. I think youth workers, we're in quite a privileged position. Our young people voluntarily come to us. They don't have to come to us, so they choose to, and that's really, a really nice thing. I don't know how to say it, but it's like more of a way for us to engage with young people is different.
Well,
than
you also
schools
have a
can.
young youth board, you said.
Yeah, so we have a young inspectors that also keep us up to date with what they like and what they want and the changes, what's relevant, what issues are affecting those, and we do adapt to those, and a lot of that then flows over to the school. So we've done things like misogyny talk, sex education. All our staff are sexual health trained.
And that's because of the recent stuff with Andrew Tate, like you said, the kids, they're aware of social media, they got their pulse on what's going on, and you guys are tapped into that, aren't you?
Yeah, so and I think it's because we are youth workers and we're not dictating to young people, we're having those discussions with them and letting them be part of those conversations. It becomes across in a different way, and young people can explore those subjects without fear of being, reprimanded or, like thinking that people think they're silly and stuff like that. But a lot of the stuff that's on the internet is coming, like working its way down and being accessed by young people in a negative way, not always in a positive way. So it's about giving them that space really to explore those things safely. And school sometimes is the best place to do that because you've got them all in the one.
They're a captive audience.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But the schools allow like us to come in and do those kind of things because it's not the same as a teacher telling you. It's like your parent telling you can't do that. And sometimes it's just easier to get the message across when it's someone you've already got a relationship with outside of school. So because they come to us and play sport and they come to us for our after-school clubs, it's easier for us to have those conversations with them sometimes.
Now, also, too, I mean, obviously, there is the question of diversity as well, and being able to, tap into that or to address it.
Yeah.
And you were saying about, well, instead of, looking at Halloween, and everything, that whole, old traditional pagan ritual, you will look at, more of an Asian ritual such as Diwali, the Festival of Light. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we realised that Liverpool's always been a diverse city anyway, but our inner city part, our suburbs and stuff are becoming more and more diverse and mixed. And we think it's really important that we celebrate everybody's culture together. So last year, for example, for our half programme, we run sessions on Diwali, so every young person got to find out what the story around Diwali was, and then we did the celebration at the end of it, a light celebration. We did the same in May half term. We've done around the colour festival Holi, and we've done other cultures, and I think it gives people young people that education as to why they're different and why they celebrate that and they don't celebrate Christmas or they don't celebrate Halloween. And just makes it more accepted. They're more accepted, really, because everybody understands it. And actually, to let them know they can celebrate it too. Like we don't all have to just follow it because we're Christians, or we don't have to just follow something because we're Muslim or whatever. We can mix it up a little bit and enjoy each other's culture too.
I think what's fascinating about that is because this is something that school is supposed to be built for. As far as you say. Bringing the knowledge of cultures together. And it shouldn't matter, whether you're a part of that culture or not. You're still learning about the culture that someone else is a part of. Whether it's a minority of young people in that group or even just one person, as you could say. Because the thing about it is the more a young person learns that the other culture is not as different or as daunting, right? It's the less scary or the less aggressive they become. Would you find that to be the case?
Yeah, I think the more we know about stuff, the less scary it becomes and the more accepting then it becomes. I think it's the unknown sometimes.
Yeah.
It was only until very recently that I realised that the Christians don't celebrate Halloween because it's a festival of darkness. So, even something that's really close to most of us that live in this city, there was still a lot of group of people that would attend a church that wouldn't naturally celebrate Halloween because of that. So I think it's just giving people more option and saying that everybody's welcome to celebrate everything and we'll do it in a safer environment, but also let them understand why, what it's about, what the festival's about, and just break down those barriers really. And get, and say it, we can all join in and enjoy it just as much as everyone else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were also saying, you guys also look at, say, Black History Month and stuff, and I would hope that more people, more groups looked at that because it's about, why is it not in schools when it's a part of history? But then again is that maybe if you just stay on the negative, of the slavery options, that's one part of Black history. A bad part, but one part. And so if you look at the other part that is not about that, then you educate people to realize that, oh, wait a minute, hold on, I did not know this. did not know that. I did not know that person was an inventor. I didn't know that person is the reason why I have this. You know, why I'm not sick, why I have lights. I didn't know that. You know, so it's that kind of thing that I think that all young people need to at least experience. Maybe even not even just once a month, but you know, through organizations like yourselves, which that seems to be your concern. Now, I was saying is like because of all the work that you guys do, you know, like, are you thinking about becoming a free school?
I mean, it
And
could
you
be an
said
option in the future, yeah. I think at the minute we're trying to find different sustainability models to try and, you know, we have been running for 15 years, which means that there will be eventually some depletion possibly in the funding that we receive, or it could be harder to come by. I think, you know, we're just looking at different things. How can we meet the needs of the young people for the best? You know, sometimes it is just about youth and play. Sometimes it's about education. Sometimes it's about antisocial behaviour or criminality. And I think education is now becoming a big part of what we do. And I think it's because of the world's changing constantly and young people's experiences changing, schools are changing. You know, our schools have
schools should change.
Well, they've gone to an academy as well, haven't they? So that's sort of changed the dynamics of the way schools run. So, you know, there could be a place for us there for, as I said before, you know, we're in a position where young people come to us voluntary. If we can then pass on information that they need to then help them to grow into employment or into their education, even getting them to the next step into like maybe university, then, you know, we do some part of that already. It could be a possibility that we then change.
Well, I think one of the interesting things that you guys do, I don't know if this is one of the things she said, I don't want people to know, but is that you pay it forward, right? So it's like, because you take on these young people from like, you know, 5 to 18, you said you have such a thing as like the Young Inspector Program and the Young Volunteer Program, but you also have work placement as well, where like if someone expressed an interest in working for the organization itself, you know, like, you know, hey, I'm going to age out of this place, but I really love this place or what it's done for me. You know, they end up having the opportunity to apply to work for Sports Life. And even in that case like that, you might even provide and support their bursary. Is that true?
Yeah, so what we tend to do is we take young placements, work experience, even young volunteers, and put them on a little programme, which the first couple of months is all about them getting to know who we are and what youth work is, and us to getting to know them. If we're a good fit, it becomes more of a learning programme. So we then apply for a bursary for the level 2 qualification, which is with Your Edge. I know you've had Paul on before. We're a direct partner of Your Edge. And he then takes them through the bursary elements, which means then they're qualified youth workers. We then either employ them or we find employment for them through in youth service. And I think there is a massive shortage of youth workers, and there's, you know, especially skills youth workers. There's nothing better than for us than to take a young person that's used the system, you know, used our charity as a young person, and then developed into a youth worker themselves. You know,
well, you also have detached workers as well, and stuff like that, and like that's also another opportunity because your detached workers are more like your outreach workers who go out into the neighborhoods, you know, looking for other kids, you know, and so who better to find than the kids who are out there themselves?
Exactly, and when we take on young people, they know where everyone hangs around, they know where the hot spots are, they know how to engage with young people on their level.
Where the white lightning is, man.
Yeah. So we have detached workers out in nearly every area that we work in, and outreach. So the outreach team will go out and support the detached. And then we feed them, we engage with them, we try and get them into some positive activities, and even sometimes we even get them into centres, which is not very often, but sometimes we do get them away from the streets.
Well, you know, I mean, that's the main thing, isn't it? Is like, you know, you're offering them the opportunity to get up off these streets and to do something.
Yep.
You know, that could be just sports, that could be just hanging out, that could be, you know, whatever. Seems like you got something coming up in August, which is not too far. You have a playaway scheme and everything, which sounded really interesting. I wish I could go. It's like a farm that has all kind of things like camping, barns, and football. Tell us about it. I know I can't go. Don't worry about it.
So we're going to it's famous in Liverpool, I suppose, through the youth service, is we're going to play away on a residential. So we're taking, I think it's 35 young people away for a couple of days to Yorkshire in Skipton it is, on a residential. So they'll be over.
Do they do like what do you call that, outward bound stuff? Like, where they like zip lining down trees?
I think you can, yeah. So the facility itself is amazing.
Hey, Phil.
It's an amazing base, right, for the young people to start on.
I'm making you laugh. I can see Phil flying through the trees. Oh!
I've been to Go 8. I've been to Go 8, mate. I've been there.
Okay. Phil goes ape. Can you imagine, Lianne?
These are all mental.
Okay. Just saying, Playway sounds fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a really, really great facility, and Playway as a base is perfect for us because it's a secure site. It's got a farm. You can go camping. They have barns. There's activities to do. They have a sport hall. It's also really affordable for
And you bring
charities.
your own food.
Yeah, and by being able to bring our own food gives us the opportunity then to teach the young people how to cook for themselves, to prepare food and stuff, eat together, which we always think is really important, and then do activities outside of there too.
No, I just think it's amazing. I mean, like, there's one more project that I thought was really interesting because, I mean, a lot of times when people tend to talk about sports, they think it's like male-oriented and all that kind of stuff. But you found yourself at one point working with a bunch of young women. You were kind of like, I don't know, rough around the edges or whatever, as we could call it.
Naughty girls.
Okay, cool. You said it, I didn't. But
You should know. And you should know.
I am a naughty girl. Yeah. Well, I was.
why would she know? Anyway. But anyway, this was a project, I think it was another funded project called Triple T.
Yeah, so we were funded to run a pilot program. So we have an Olympian boxer that we employ. We're really privileged to have him. He's a fantastic employee. And then on top of that, we've got a qualified yoga instructor. So they came up together to create this program called the Triple T. And the Triple T stands for 30, 20, 10. So it's 30 minutes of intense activity, which is normally pad work. It's all about anger.
Sounds like Taibo to me. I didn't like Taibo.
It's like anger, getting your anger out, your aggression out, that kind of thing. 20 minutes of yoga, stretching, and then we have 10 minutes meditation. And what it does is it sort of centres the young person ready for whatever's next. So some of the programmes that we run after that would be a cookery programme, the Duke of Edinburgh, like all those kinds of things. And it's just getting them from all of the aggression out, all of the stuff down.
Sounds like it exhausted all the acid of negativity out of their system.
Yeah. And it's a great way for them to do some positive activity. The group of girls that you're talking about that we were hanging around with, they weren't in education, they were messing about with low-level drug use.
They were.
They were, yeah. There was a lot of issues around like promiscuity, drinking on the streets. There was quite a lot. They weren't engaging with any other services really. So we met them on detached, brought them in on an outreach project. Now they've all passed the Bronze Awards on the Duke of Edinburgh. They're now volunteering in the centres with the younger kids. They're back in school, like out of the 4 or 5 of them, I think there's 5 of them, 4 of them are back in school, which is great. So yeah, it really worked, and I think it was just giving them that space to be able to get that aggression out.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a lot of engagement around talking and, being able to feel safe and secure and building that relationship up too. It did take a while.
Yeah.
But the outcome of it has been really, really positive and really successful, and we're really proud of it.
Yeah, man. It sounds like one of them Channel 4 shows.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean?
What a great story, though.
Yeah, it is a great story there, Phil. I mean, but the main thing about it is that they got the bronze award for it.
Yeah, that's right.
and everything, and you guys also got your DFE award. So this is an organization that don't just walk the walk, but talk the talk. You know what I mean? They do.
Absolutely.
They do. No, seriously. Sports Alive is definitely one of those organizations that started out from the idea, sprang from the mind of a young man who wanted something free, for himself, for his neighborhood, and now look at what it's doing. It's servicing hundreds of other kids over the past 15 years. Well done. What an accomplishment. And to be involved in most of that time as well. Leanne, I mean, you yourself are amazing. We didn't get to hear your origin story, but I knew if I asked Leanne her origin story, she would break down. So like, either way you look at it, I think you get a sense. She means what she says.
She'd probably make your hair curl, mate.
She make my eggs curdle?
Your hair curl.
Oh yeah, right. I have no hair,
Oh, yeah.
but
Yeah, sorry about that.
And your legs cradle.
if you
and your eggs curdle,
if you saw the bald spot at the back of my head, either way you look at it, Leanne, I want to thank you for joining me here. I know you were nervous. I'm hoping that you feel better now, and everything else like that, because I think you've done your organization proud, and everything. So I'd like to thank Lianne McGinnes for joining me here in the studio at the Liverpool Community Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johnson Lynch. That's Phil over there who can't stop laughing, but I don't know why. Hey, Phil, do that again.
No, I can't do it.
Just remember Phil on a zip line. And you For now, we out of here.